So, an unsecured database containing the profile information of 235 million users of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube was discovered online on August 1st, according to Forbes. So the details of the database were discovered by a security firm called Comparatech. Now, to clarify, the information collected doesn't seem to be the result of a hack, but rather from data scraping by a company going to social media sites and compiling things like profile names, photos, and other kinds of information along those lines. Now, with that information, it's not necessarily passwords that were gathered. However, it is something certainly to be concerned about. So, according to Comparatech, it appeared to originate from a data scraping company called Deep Social, which was banned from Instagram and Facebook in 2018. They alerted Deep Social, who then alerted a Hong Kong-based company called Social Data, which then took the database down. There's no indication of how long the database was online without a password and available publicly. So, information like this would most likely be used by scammers and phishing campaigns, which can trick people into clicking on bad links or giving up information or typing in passwords and thereby giving up access to the accounts themselves. According to Comparatech, the fact that all of these were in one database makes it much more valuable than one individual user's information. The key thing here is that unsecured databases like this do exist online, and there's a lot of them out there, and that's definitely a problem, whether the information is gathered legally or not. So if you have a company with a database that's online, make sure you have that thing locked down so no one can get access to it. And for everybody out there, be careful and watch out for phishing and scamming emails, because you might be getting some more soon. Check it all out at digitaltrends.com. All right, continuing on here with trending news. The social media battle against misinformation and baseless conspiracy theories went up a notch as Facebook announced it removed hundreds of groups associated with QAnon. Now, this may sound familiar because Facebook has already removed some large groups previously associated with them, but never in this massive amount at once, which is actually something they've been criticized for not doing already. Removing a large group and not banning this type of misinformation and hate speech in their policies leads to some users just creating new groups or joining smaller ones. QAnon believers, for those who don't know, they're the ones that peddle the conspiracy theories like Pizzagate and false information about the pandemic, and at times have outright encouraged violence. So the step Facebook took removed nearly 800 groups associated with them, but also took down more than 1,500 advertisements for it as well. So they posted that the moves were part of a policy measure called Dangerous Individuals and Organizations, which aims to remove and restrict content that has led to real-world violence. This policy will also have effect on other organizations that even mentioned Antifa in there. So while we allow, this is what they said, while we allow people to post content that supports these movements and groups, so long as they do not otherwise violate our content policies, we will restrict their ability to organize on our platform. That's according to Facebook. It remains to be seen if this will actually quell some of these organizations or if they'll just pop right back up again, but you can read more about it at digitaltrends.com. Google has been updating maps a lot more frequently lately, but the latest one could be a big help to people who live in areas prone to wildfires. So this latest feature will show an almost real-time boundary of an active wildfire as it moves and changes. The technology was tested out in California first, and it involves using data from a number of sources to make sure that the information is accurate and safe, since they noticed that a lot of searches for wildfire information were bringing up sites that speculated or reported hearsay. So they gather information and data sets from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration satellites, and then they use their own Earth Engine platform to process it. So that data is then translated into maps, or onto maps, in the form of red pixels that outline the fire itself, changing shape as the boundary of it does and updating about every hour. If you live in wildfire country, this is very, very important. They'll also send out alerts and let people in the affected area know about road closures, provide alternative directions to safely get them around these things, and the kind of thing that could be a huge benefit is for people who need to get up and move fast. Now, this is a lot of information that they're processing, and they said that it's because it's, like I said, very important for this kind of thing to get out there to find accurate information for people who are in the danger zone. So you'll still need an internet connection, so this isn't a perfect solution, but definitely a good use case of this kind of technology. The system's rolling out to the United States first, with the goal of more countries later on. But again, that update rolling out there for Google Maps. Read all about it at digitaltrends.com. The plans to send humans back to the moon is well underway with NASA's Artemis project, and we now have a little more of an idea of what kind of view those astronauts are going to get as they approach it. So Kathy Luters, who's the Associate Administrator of the Human Exploration and Operations Mission Directorate for NASA, posted a photo of a window panel being manufactured for the Orion crew module. So it features several windows and a round frame that no matter where they are in the craft, they'll be able to see outside. The full Orion craft itself is what NASA will be sending astronauts to the moon in and using for establishing the moon base and even beyond that. The Artemis project has a multi-tiered goal to get humans back to space, with the first mission, Artemis 1, set to take off next year with an uncrewed flyby of the moon. After that, in 2023, they're going to send humans up in the Orion craft, but just to do a flyby of the moon without landing. And then 2024, that is the year that Artemis 3 is expected to land on the moon and bring humans back to it, with the goal of getting that moon base established as well. So this is all one small part of a huge project, but it definitely further solidifies the fact that we are entering into a new space area. It's pretty exciting, and you can read all about it, again, at digitaltrends.com.